Welcome to Would You Guess? My name is Brad Pomerance. So glad you're with us today. You may know me from Jewish Life Television's Air, Land, and Sea, Generations. And now I have this crazy podcast introducing you to some of the most interesting, compelling faces and voices in the Jewish and non-Jewish world, frankly. And would you guess that one of the biggest singers, performers, musicians in the Jewish world sings country? He does. He is really a country guy. He is so country, he grew up in the Texas Hill Country. So his name is Joe Buchanan. Joe, good to have you on. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's good to be here. Brad, thank you so much for that super kind wind-up. I feel like you're buttering me up for something here.
I was going to say, you may know him from his albums Unbroken and Back from Babylon. And you also may know him because recently he has exploded on Instagram. Even my wife came up to me and said, "Do you know this guy, Joe Buchanan? He's all over my page." He's now up to, I don't know, it's like 20,000 followers, which, not too bad. And so, Joe, let's get right into it. And I wanted to ask you, before we talk about your journey to Judaism, because I think it won't be a surprise, Joe Buchanan, not born Jewish, but that's okay. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about Joe, baby Joe in the Texas Hill Country. Tell us about your upbringing.
Yeah. I grew up with my grandparents raised me until I was about 6 years old. We had a ranch out in South Texas, and I'd spend part of the year, out there on that ranch, just growing up, and then here in town and near Houston. And I mean, it was a great way to grow up. A lot of music, a lot of good folks,
Sure.
a lot of hard work, and
a lot of good barbecue.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the distance between here and Houston out there to where we were, I mean, everything good that you want to eat is on that trip.
I love that. So my daughter, my eldest daughter, when she was 14 years old, she went on an exchange program to Peru.
Oh wow.
And she met a bunch of young students from Tyler, Texas. And she said to them, "Have you ever met a Jewish person before?" And they said, "No." And she said, "Well, now you have." So my question for you is, Joe Buchanan, when you were growing up in the Texas Hill Country, had you ever met a Jewish person?
I never did. I spent all that time in the Hill Country and spent part of it here in Houston, where we have a huge Jewish population.
Sure.
The synagogues are in the neighborhoods.
One of the biggest.
Not on they're not in the highways. So
Right.
I never met anyone Jewish growing up. I didn't know anybody. I never saw a kippah in my life. I never saw a Star of David. And the only time I ever heard about the Jewish people was for like a week in history class. That is it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about how somehow Joe Buchanan wound up being a member of the tribe.
Yeah.
So you get married. What's your wife's name?
Her name is April.
You get married to April. And I don't know, like a decade into the marriage, she drops, I don't know, some interesting information on you. What was that information?
Yeah, we were 13 years into our marriage, and we're standing outside the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., and she says, "I want to get in touch with my people's faith." And I said, "What?" I said, "What are you talking about? Who are your people?" She was
What
like,
people? Yeah.
"What people?" She goes, "I'm Jewish." And I said, "What?" I said, "How did you get Jewish?" And she's like, "I was born Jewish." And I said, You can't just be born Jewish, right?" And she's like, "Joe, that's how it works, And she goes, "Our son is Jewish." I said, "Does he know that?" She was like, "No, this is a true story. We talk."
Yeah, but see, can I dig into this? Can I dig into this? Because
please.
honestly, I mean, look, I know, a lot of folks maybe, they're descendants of Holocaust survivors. They're Holocaust survivors themselves. They hide that they're Jewish.
Right.
Was that your wife's history?
No, it's really interesting. That was not it at all. What it was is that her family tree, like my own, was hit by lightning many times. And she was part of a military family, so she lived all over the place. And everywhere she was, and even in the house, there was no shul, there was no community, summer camp, Hebrew school, nothing. And so there was no tradition. There was no really even awareness of what does it mean to be Jewish. They just knew they were Jewish, and they knew where they were descended from. But nothing was done about it. Her mom. And
so maternal. Okay.
There was no, there was no anything around being Jewish other than you're Jewish. And so, like, when we first started dating, I told her, I said, "Look, I grew up believing in God, but I disagreed with everything that I learned in a lot of the places I was trying to find answers. And she said, well, I'm not really into it. And I said, well, can we go to this is a true story. I said, can we go to a church and just see if maybe now I like it, because I didn't when I was young. And she goes, sure. So we go there. They're singing. I'm trying to find myself in it and running into the same things I struggled with and disagreed with when I was young, which is kind of why I walked away from it.
Yeah.
And I noticed she's not participating at all. And I said, do you want to get in on any of this? She's like, I'm just here for you. I'm not interested. I didn't realize that because she was like, this isn't mine. And so I'm just here for him.
I mean, look, it's easy for me to pose these questions. I'm not April.
I love it.
I mean, like, why did she not just mention? Was she embarrassed? Was she afraid you'd reject her?
Well, there is something I think in there. No, I know. She thought I knew. She thought I knew she was Jewish because I knew her mom was Jewish. But I had no clue that made her.
But that didn't mean anything.
That didn't mean anything to me. That's like saying my mom's from Hawaii. Oh, okay, great. How are you Hawaiian?
So it just
didn't. It made no sense.
If you don't
to me.
know, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. And so she thought I knew. And she had a Star David necklace in her jewelry box that whole time, and I thought it was like she was like respecting her mom. It was from an Affie Coleman bag when she was 4 years old.
Wow.
I mean, it's absolutely wild, but very true.
So you figure out that her mother's Jewish and she identifies as Jewish.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that y'all need to go run to the local synagogue and convert.
That's true.
And then become one of the leaders of the Jewish, musical corps. I mean, what happened, my friend?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm one of those people that if I start getting a scent of something and I want to know more about it, I'm going to chase it down. I'm going to find everything I can out. I said, look, I don't know anything. I know there's something about pork. That's all I know. And she's like, I think there's more than that. And I said, well, let's go figure it out. So we found a rabbi. We went to Clear Lake, Texas, a little shul right here close to our house. That's the only reason we went.
Around Houston?
Around Houston, yeah.
Houston?
The only reason we went is because it was nearby. We didn't want to drive real far.
Yeah, I
don't like distance. Come on, 20 minutes, perfect.
Neither. Yeah, exactly.
So we walk in, and Rabbi Stuart Federer was right there. He introduced himself. I said, my name is Joe. It's my wife April's son Nathan. They're Jewish. I'm not. But none of us know what that means. Yeah. And this is what he said to me. I'm gonna share it with you. I love telling people this. He looked right at me. He goes, "You want me just to explain it all to you?" I said, "Yes, please. That'd be great." He goes, "All right. Here's the deal." He goes, "There's one God, and there's nothing wrong with you." He said, you're great just like this. You're loved by your Creator as you are. You're part of creation, loved by God. You don't have to do anything else. It's done. He said, you put more good in the world. He said, the reward for doing good is the good you see in the world. He said, we don't do good because of something that comes later or some punishment or some reward. Put more good in the world. That's the reward for doing good. And then he said, we don't know what happens. Yeah, he said, we don't know what happens next.
Right.
We just know what happens now. He said, the life you have is the gift you've been given, and you have got to take care of it. This was like 30 years of therapy all at once. I had some significant religious, I guess, trauma, you could say, from when I was a kid. Okay. And this was it was a beautiful description of God. It sounded like I was talking to my grandfather again. And I'll tell you what, I jumped into the conversion process. I couldn't get here fast enough.
But why? Why? I mean,
yeah,
I still look. That rabbi sounds phenomenal, but still,
he's great because I thought so much of the world doesn't have any idea about this message, and it's something not only I believe in, but I want to do and participate in, protect, and do what I can to support. But it was. I believed it. I wanted to support it as much as I could. I wanted to uplift it. I wanted to be part of the Jewish people. I wanted to stand alongside and with the Jewish people and do whatever I could to add to the good. And, I didn't know any of this stuff growing up. And I thought, what a shame. This is so beautiful. Why isn't this common knowledge? So I wanted to know more, and I wanted to join my wife and son in being Jewish. And they actually went through all the classes too, even though they didn't have to.
Yeah, technically, yeah. So
to learn, yeah.
So when I was younger, I grew up in suburban Los Angeles County, and there was a couple. I remember them very well. He was kind of an Ashkenazi Jewish guy, and she was African American. and she had converted, and it's simply undeniable that she became like the shiny red object. You know, everyone wanted to know her, and she was like, it was, and at the time I didn't realize what that was or what that meant. And even now, you know, when I walk into a shul, if I see someone that looks, I don't know, not Ashkenazi, not European, I want to like jump in, which is really, you know, can be very othering.
Yeah.
And while it's nice to feel like a shiny red object, it also can feel as if, well, I mean, I'm just me. So my question, Joe, and I think you know where I'm going, is, you know, how do you feel in the Jewish community? I mean, are we turning you into a shiny red object? And maybe you love that. Or do you feel it's just, you're just one of us?
I really feel like I'm just one of us. You know, as far as I'm concerned, family's full of all kinds. You got people you love being around, and some people are just a real struggle
Fair
and a
enough.
gift.
Yeah.
And we have all that, you know, in our home. I mean, the diaspora is such a vast and beautiful quilt of colors and songs and all these things and shapes and sizes. And I definitely get looks, you know, when I sometimes come into a place. And, you know, if that leads people to asking me questions, I certainly don't mind answering. And I think that's something that you take on when you choose to participate in leadership in the Jewish community. You open yourself up to conversations.
Yeah, it's tricky because honestly, my intent is good. I mean, if I'm asking people questions, I swear I'm not trying to other them. I'm not trying to make them the shiny red object. I'm just fascinated. And I'm so glad that they're there. But I can understand why for some it feels as if they're being almost fetishized. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know where I'm going?
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's like you said, you talk about a shiny red object. I mean, we don't want other people. We want people to feel welcome and know that they're safe there and that it's a place for them too, and it's their house as well. I will say a lot of people who join the tribe, and I only say this from just having a lot of conversations with people about this, there's a thinness involved in that usually most people, by the time they come to ask those questions about Judaism, they've gone through some stuff. They've been through some stuff, and you know, and it's a difficult ask. It's like kind of timid, like, can I ask about this? Is it okay? Once they go through all the stuff, all of a sudden they're part of this home, but they didn't grow up in that home, and so there's this sensitivity to being welcome, not welcome. Am I messing up? Am I, you know, it's.
I understand. Yeah, it's well stated.
That can be pretty intense. I know it's like that for me when I write any Jewish song. I think, is this a good representation for my people? Am I doing a good job for them and myself?
So let's talk about your music, because let's face it, Joe. When you think about, we'll say, Ashkenazi Jewish music, Eastern European music, you know, we're talking like minor chords, accordions, clarinets. When we're talking country, we're talking guitars and banjos and fiddles, and so. Not really coming from the same like milieu, if that's fair to say.
That's
milieu
true.
From the French, not from the Yiddish. But be that as it may, you know, how are you able, and somehow you've done it, to kind of bring that Jewish ethos into very, very clearly country music?
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And so I grew up with country music, and for me, it was always a storytelling art. It was all about people and their struggles and very real, honest things. And there was a lot of that in who we are as a people. So when I started writing music, I didn't know Jewish music existed. I didn't know that there was anything that was considered Jewish. I mean, I knew what I heard Friday night. I knew what I heard Saturday morning in the prayers, but I didn't know klezmer from anything else, you know? And so I just started writing what was honest for me and about the things I felt like I needed to write about, and didn't even intend on doing it professionally at first. Enough people asked me to keep getting in front of them and come here.
And let me ask you that, because look, I mean, you're obviously a gifted performer, period. Forget that you.
That's very nice to hear. Thank you.
But why have you chosen to focus your career on Jewish? I mean, you could just be a great country singer.
Sure.
But you really have marched down this path that you're using your Jewish faith and infusing it into your country music.
Judaism put me back in my life. I was very much, I felt like a stranger outside my life, and it put me back inside my life with all the good that's there. And I wanted to just beat the drum for that as loudly as I could. Songwriting is how I can best express myself. And so it's the purpose and the fuel behind all the music. I want to uplift our people and support our communities and our people. And I also want to be a good bridge for anybody walking by to say, hey, this is what we got going on over here, and come on over. Yeah.
And let's talk about that bridge, because I would never suggest that country music is Christian, because it's not Christian.
Yeah, not at all.
But I mean, it's hard to deny that, the line between country music and Christian rock, it's sometimes hard to find where that line is. And I mean, believe you me, some Christian rock is great. I mean, like, it's great tunes, the words putting aside.
Beautiful
and I'll also
music.
tell you, and I'll also tell you, this Jewish boy, I love me some my gospel. I mean, like, gospel touches my soul. I mean, literally, so like, I don't want to suggest there's anything wrong with, any, faith-based music, but, country's an interesting kind of dynamic.
Yeah. Country music reminds me a lot of the diaspora, in that you have so many different influences. Yes, you have gospel, but you also have honky tonk and black string bands and bluegrass and Americana. You have all these different things that have nothing to do with Christianity, that are the roots of country music. You have country music that is Christian music. You have rock that's Christian music. You have all these different things. And so to me, it didn't seem odd to write Jewish songs in the genre of country music. It seemed to me to be something that really made sense as a storytelling craft and as a genre that is about people and their struggles. And sometimes
what does Nashville say about that?
It's been great. I mean, we just
Nashville's
played.
Okay?
Nashville's
okay with you?
The Texas Country Music Association brought us in. We just joined the Recording Academy, so we're now part of the Grammy voting process.
Oh my!
And then we played a show at the Country Music Hall of Fame not too long ago over in Nashville. So it's been great. The country music community is a super accepting and also curious community. The more folks come in that bring their history and their stories and their things with them, it very much is a community that wants to add more chairs to the table, and I'm all about that.
And what's so interesting is that since October 7th, we have seen a surge of support for Jews in Israel amongst evangelical Christians.
Yes,
many of whom are country music fans.
Right.
And so I can only imagine that they are just completely enamored with what you're offering. I mean, I got to tell you, anecdotally, I read the feedback we get at Jewish Life Television. When Jews email JLTV, they're complaining. When Christians are emailing us, we love you, we love Israel.
It's a very different message.
Exactly. So, what are you hearing from our friends in the evangelical community? Because I got to think they're just completely tickled by Joe Buchanan.
Oh, well, and listen, I think if anything that I've written does any amount of good for anybody, great. Once that song is released and it's in there in the world, that belongs to you and how you interpret it and take it. I'm very open with the fact that I'm not Christian. I'm not one of these messianic folks. You know,
you do hear that. Oh, he's a messianic Jew.
Yeah,
which we know you're not.
I'm very clear with my story. However, at the same time, if somebody writes me and says, I'm a Christian and I just want you to know I love your music. Thank you. That is so sweet. If it does some good for you and helps you in your day, beautiful. Yeah. That's great. There's not one of those like you go to listen to some of my tunes and it goes, "Are you Jewish?" and you have to answer a question.
Exactly. You're not Spotify. You go to Spotify. If you don't answer yes, are you Jewish? You're off.
You're not getting called to the Torah here. Exactly. This is music. Exactly. Yeah. But I try to be open about my journey and what I believe.
So who is your audience? I mean, when you go to perform, are you performing at synagogues? Are you performing at local bars? Are you performing at big amphitheaters? Where are you performing?
Really all over the place. Yeah, perform at colleges, bars, venues, regular, what you think of as kind of standard gigs, festivals. But I spend about 3 weekends a month in different Jewish communities all over the country and abroad. We're going to the UK and, up in Canada and stuff. And I put together this really, we're so proud of it. It's a great artist in residence program where I do a Friday night called Friday Night Lights, all country music, original inspired stuff, very focused on the reverence of Shabbat. It's down home, porch feel. And then we do I do Torah studies and talks and stuff.
If I can interrupt just for a moment. Look, I know there are plenty of Southern Jews. I mean, the South, there are plenty of Southern Jews. Charleston was, was kind of the capital of Jewish America in the 18th century.
Yeah.
But I still hearing the word Shabbat with the Southern accent. I mean, it just warms my heart. It just warms my. And my daughter went to Emory in Atlanta. My wife went to Emory in Atlanta. So it's not like I don't hear Southern Jewish, voices. But I don't know. Hearing you say like everything with Jewish with an accent, it warms my heart.
I can't shake it too much. Now sometimes when a lot of the prayer music that I write, a lot of it's in Hebrew, and my pronunciation for that is really good. I'm really proud of it. But
yeah, mine not. Why not?
But certain vowels you can still hear, where's he from? You can.
So you speak Hebrew with a Southern accent?
I don't speak it fluently,
but meaning when you speak the Hebrew words,
I don't think it's there because I try not to have it too much. But
awesome,
you can be heard. I had a b'nai mitzvah I did my b'nai mitzvah with my wife, who never had her bat mitzvah, so we did it together in Las Vegas. And
perfect.
Yeah, it was cool.
Elvis there? Did you have Elvis as the rabbi?
No, but the lead guitar player for the Killers was in my B'nai Mitzvah class. Nice, and when I read from the Torah afterwards, April goes, "Joe, I've never heard the Torah read with a Southern accent before."
See, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Now, I know you've been to Israel.
Yes.
And I want to get a sense from you, what do you make of Israel? I mean, other than, it's all, really dig deep, Joe. And what do you think of Israel?
That's a huge question. I mean, we can be talking about, modern events. Yeah. We could be talking about all kinds. I will say this. I'm a huge fan of Israel. I love that Israel. Let me get the stuff out of the gate up top that I think people want to know. I am 100% a believer that Israel has the right to exist, to be the home of the Jewish people, the right to defend itself. I believe in Zionism, and but I also believe in doing as much good as you possibly can as a country. And I think that they're a country that is always looking at what more can we do right? How can we do this better? How can we balance everything? They work so hard on it. When I was there, one of the things that was difficult, I would encourage everybody, go to Israel. Go, just go once. And you will bring with you, like I did, all the expectations of everybody you know. Oh, it's going to change your life. Oh, it's going to be a whole new, everybody told me this stuff. I was in Tel Aviv on the first night when we went, walking through the streets. It was dark. It was quiet as could be. You couldn't hear a thing. And I didn't know whether I belonged there. I felt like, well, this is a country that supposedly is a home for me too, but I feel like a stranger, like I'm like an imposter. Thank you. Yeah. That's a good way to say it.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. That's a real thing, right?
I get it. Yeah.
And I'm walking through the streets, and all this is in my head and in my heart, and and all of a sudden, I kid you not, this breeze blows in, and it smelled like jasmine, like star jasmine. And all of a sudden, I stopped. Home. I stopped thinking about all that stuff. It was kind of like someone clapping their hands in front of you. It just kind of stuns you for a second. And from that point on, I figured out what it was to me without worrying about what it was to anybody else, and it became a beautiful and enriching experience. I love Israel. It's great. It's
so
great.
Interesting. And again, I'm not trying to make you a shiny red object. No, I will just say, broadly speaking, and it's not just you, but I've spoken with many converts.
Yeah.
And it is hard to deny that if one is a Jew by choice, I mean, you really have a sense of why you've chosen this faith, this community, this people. Yeah. I was born into it. Both my parents were Jewish. My DNA says I'm 100% Ashkenazi. I mean, and even though I do feel very kind of Jewish in my quote DNA, it was given to me. Whereas for you, you took it. And there's a wisdom that I hear from converts, if I can say, that I don't, that is just, it's because of your journey. Your journey is unlike mine. And I'm just we are enriched by converts. We're not a proselytizing faith, as you know. Right. So it's not as if we're constantly seeking new members.
Right.
So when we do get new members like yourself, we're just so fortunate to have you, as mishpocha, as they say, Yiddish word for family.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that one of the reasons that you do find a lot of converts who are very active and very like they want to talk about it and they want to do, be as involved as they can be. I think it's because most of us show up parched. We're just parched. Been looking for this for so long.
Great word.
And then when you finally find it, you go, I want to be with this, and I want to do this, and I want to protect this, and I want to help in whatever way I can. There's a strong desire to just be a support and uplift and contribute to. And I know for me, and I don't want to speak for everybody else, but definitely for me, I feel like I'm always trying to earn it. I want to be worthy of this.
And I want to be worthy enough to ask you, will you sing a song for us, Joe?
Sure, yeah.
Can you pull out your guitar? I mean, is it possible? Like, I know we're in kind of a confined space.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
If you're able to do it, we would love to hear, briefly tell us about the song, the inspiration, and then we'll just say a quick goodbye after.
That's very kind. Yeah, I'll play. I'll play you a tune. And now I want everybody to know this was not planned. I do happen to have a guitar right here.
I was gonna say
I'm in my studio, so it just kind of works out. But we're gonna
think.
But because this is sort of off the cuff, we're gonna make sure that
good.
we're
okay.
Can you hear that? Okay.
100%.
Baldur, you're gonna have to wait a minute, buddy. I know you're excited over there. That's the dog.
That's the dog. Yeah.
Great. So I'm gonna play you a song I wrote for my wife. This is off our new album, Heaven and Earth. 15 tracks of original Jewish country music. You can find it out there wherever good music is streamed or sold. It's based on the Song of Songs. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. I tell her she's everything. She says I'm all right. I like a tall glass of whiskey. She likes a little shot of wine. Any day there's a way I can see her face. It's a day when the sun shines, and I am my beloved's. My beloved is mine. Well, it ain't always easy, but it's always good. We don't agree on everything, but we agree where we should. And if I need to know that God loves the world, she's the sign, and I am my beloved's. My beloved is mine. And I ain't got no rhythm, and she's a dancing queen. The belle of the ball, she took me right off the wall, showed me what love means. Anytime we get the chance, you can bet we'll dance in the kitchen or the grocery store. You know you found the right one when the world is your dance floor. I tell her she's everything. She says I'm all right.
I mean, your voice is a gift from Hashem, as they say, a gift from God, a gift from God.
Oh, that's very
Joe, what's your Instagram? I want everyone to follow you. Is it Joe Buchanan Music?
Thanks.
What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
At Joe Buchanan Music. All of our socials are.
I am so inspired by you. I really am glad to finally meet you. Rabbi Mark Blazer, who he does Friday night services here on JLTV. Cannot say enough about you, and now I know why. You're stuck with me, man. We're gonna stay in touch. You bet, pal. You have been listening
good to meet you too, Brad.
Yeah, you are coming to LA soon.
Let's do it.
I live in Los Angeles. Get to LA. We'll have a great time, and if I get to Houston, I'll get to you as well. See you next time. Thanks so much, Joe.